resources to create systems that could help with contact tracing.
Okay, literally a couple of hours ago, this super rare smartphone came in. But before I show it to you, I just need to give you a little bit of context. So you probably know that even though Samsung's phones run on Android, the company likes to do their own thing. They have their own voice assistant, their own Samsung applications. It feels like recently they've really been trying to create their own ecosystem. But what a lot of people might not have realized is that they did exactly that almost 10 years ago. Welcome to the Samsung Wave, the first smartphone in the world that runs on Samsung's own operating system, Barid OS. On the back, it's described as a bold new adventure in the history of innovation. It says over here that Barid is a complete smartphone platform. This was Samsung's Android rival, and funnily enough, actually sold more units at launch than Android did. So you might be wondering, where on earth did it disappear to? To answer that question, let's take a look inside the package at the device itself. Now, the Samsung Wave actually came out in 2010, which is the exact same year that they launched the Galaxy S, which is a phone that runs on Android. So this might seem like kind of a puzzling decision, but it's just a case of Samsung wanting to diversify. They didn't want their entire fate to rest on this new platform of theirs, but at the same time, their future prospects were incredible if their own Barid software took off. So in an ideal world for Samsung, everybody would have bought the Wave, even instead of their own Galaxy S. So the question is, how did they try and make people do that? Well, to start with, the phone runs on TouchWiz. It's a bit of a misconception that TouchWiz is something that Samsung used to use on Android only. TouchWiz is the name given to the user interface itself, the icons, the layout, the design language, and so this can be ported from OS to OS. I imagine Samsung's intention was to make this feel like an Android phone, to the point where an average consumer might not even know any different. You get a home screen with widgets, you get a full app drawer, and even multitasking of sorts. You hold down the home button and can see your last apps. In fact, in some ways, the Wave was even better than their own Android flagship. For starters, it had an LED flash on the back, which is not to be taken for granted at this time, and just generally a bolder, braver design. This was the best hardware Samsung had ever put out there, and it was praised all around for just how solid it felt in your palm. It's got a metal body, and it fits really nicely in your hands, although I'm sure at least part of this is just the novelty of having a phone I can use completely with one hand. You get a 3.5-inch Super AMOLED display on the front, a 5-megapixel camera, and a 1 GHz single-core chip inside. Obviously, everything is relative, and even compared to a budget phone today, this doesn't hold up particularly well, but at the time it showed promise. So what happened? Why did this bother? Even after nearly trumping the iPhone in launch sales, just disappear off the face of the planet? Even though it was Samsung's best shot at creating their own ecosystem. The answer lies in apps. Applications for a long time on phones were nothing more than productivity tools. Things like a notepad or a calculator were about as exciting as it got. But iOS and Android changed this. They both offered platforms, the App Store and the App Market, where for the first time developers had a powerful incentive to create more advanced applications. The iOS Store gave devs access to a massive pool of iPhone users, all of whom were wealthy and hungry for content. And then Google succeeded by being free and open source and putting very little regulation on these developers so that they could update their applications quickly. And through this, iOS and Android became default platforms. Let me quickly explain what I mean by this. On a platform you have two sides, developers that provide applications and consumers who buy them. And in this model, each party wants there to be more people on the other side. Developers want more consumers so that their apps will sell better, and consumers want more developers so that they have more choice. And when you get to the point where both developers know that they can safely expect developers to be there is when a platform becomes a default platform. And so, whilst the Wave only came out 2 years after Android, those 2 years were enough for Android and iOS to become default platforms. And once that happens, once it's happened once, it is very hard to shift that notion. For example, even though Samsung marketed this phone the absolute best they could to consumers, convincing them that Bardo would have a full suite of apps, this doesn't change the fact that the developers are still expecting the main bulk of consumers to be using Android phones and iPhones, and so still won't develop for Bardo. As a result of this, the store became a desolate wasteland and fell further and further behind Android each month. So, a combination of this and the fact that Samsung's Android phones really started picking up meant that Bardo was pretty soon discontinued, and Samsung decided to settle for creating an ecosystem within Android as opposed to their own operating system entirely, as they had did earlier. They released Bardo a couple of years before it was did. Today, we may well be facing the choice of three potential operating systems, not two. The conclusion we can draw from this is that Android and iOS were already so far ahead that Samsung could catch up 2 years after they started. Right now, over 10 years after they started, it's really tricky to see how everyone can compete. It's like Huawei's upcoming HomeOS, but the only reason that has any viability is because it's still able to run Android apps. The way I see it, it'd be pretty much impossible to start something new that doesn't use this, and in a way, this gives Google increasing power every single year. If you enjoyed this video, a sub would be massively appreciated. My name is Aaron, this is Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'll catch you in the next one.